Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Arini Kusmawardani and my register number is A1M219027. And in here, me as the first speaker, I would like to explain about phrase, had, and modifier. Our discussion of syntax begins with two central ideas. The first is that certain relationship hold between words whereby one word, that is the had, and control the other word, that is modifiers. A given had may have more than one modifier and may have no modifier. The second idea is that words are grouped into phrases and that groupings typically bring together hads and their modifiers. A phrase itself is any group of words or sometimes a single word which play a particular file within the grammatical structure of a sentence. For example, in the large dog, the word dog is the head, and the and large are its modifier. In bark loudly, the word bark is the head, and loudly is the modifier. A phrase then is a group of interrelated words. Groups of interrelated words can be moved around inside clauses as a single unit. Here, we concentrate on the fact that in such group, we recognize various links among the words between had and their modifier. This relationship of modification is fundamental in syntax. It will play an important role in the account of different types of clause and is crucial to discussion of word order in different language. How are we to understand the statement one word that is the head and controls the other word that is modifiers? Consider the sentence which also introduced the use of the asterisk to mark unacceptable. For example, first, that is A, Ethel was sitting at her desk. B, accountant was sitting at her desk. C, accountant audit our finances every year. For example, in 1A is a grammatical sentence of English, but 1B is not grammatical, at least as an example of standard English. Ethel is a type of noun that typically excluded words such as D and A. Here we will use nouns that accord with their traditional definition as words that denote people, place, and things. Accountant is a different type of noun. If it is a singular as in example 2a, it requires a word such as the or a. In 2c, accountants consist of accountant plus the plural suffix s and denotes more than one accountant. It doesn't require the. Maybe that's all about my explanation about phrase, had, and modifier, and I'm so sorry if I have mistake. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurrahma Alfira Hamzah. My number registration is A1M219017. I'm from class A, and this time I want to continue the explanation about head and modifiers. Like what my friends explained before, accountant is a different type of noun. If it is singular, as in example number 2a, it requires a word such as the or a. In example number 2c, accountants consists of accountant plus the plural suffix us and denotes more than one accountant. It does not recur the plural nouns, of course, exclude a or an, but allow words such some or more as shown in example number 3. Now, here the example. A. I would like an accountant to sort out my tax return. B. Some accountants were quickly counting in the back office. C. Would more accountants make any difference to my tax bill? Another type of noun, which includes words such as salt, sand, and water, can occur with any word such as the, a, or some. As an example number 4a, the greeter spread salt, and b, the greeter spread the salt, and can occur the plural but only with a large change in meaning. Example number 1 can only mean that different types of salt were spread. Like what I said before, the greeter spread salt, the greeter spread the salt, and the greeter spread the salt. Note that a plural noun such as greeters allow either less or fewer. As in example number 5d, there are less greeters on the motorway this winter. And example number 5c, there are fewer greeters on the motorway this winter. Whereas salt occurs less and includes fewer, as in example number 5a, the greeter spread less salt than that one. And example number 5b, this greater spread fewer salt than that one. The central property of the above example is that either accountant, salt, and greater permit or exclude the plural suffix and permit or exclude words such as the, a, some, less, and fewer. Note that it'll exclude the, a, some, less, and fewer. So, in example number 4a, the greater spread salt includes a and fever. Greeters includes a. Accountants allow both the and a, and so on. I think that's all from me. Thank you very much for attention.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Amelia Friningsi. The registration number is A1M219087. Here I am going to continue the explanation of my friends. We have looked at pairs with nouns as the controlling word, but other types of words exercise similar control. Many adjectives such as sad or big allow words such as very to modify them. Example, very sad, very big, but exclude words such as more. Example, sadder is fine, but more sad is the very least unusual. Other adjectives such as wooden exclude very and more. Example, very wooden and more wooden. That is, wooden exclude very and more in its literal meaning, but not that very is acceptable when wooden has a metaphorical meaning, as in the policeman had a very wooden expression. Even a preposition can be the controlling word in a group. Preposition link nouns to nouns or works about antiguous, adjectives to nouns rich in minerals, and verbs to nouns aimed at the target. Most prepositions must be followed by a group of words containing a noun or by a noun on its own, as in they sat round the table, Cloud painted with this paintbrush, and I bought a present for the children. A small number of prepositions allow another preposition between them and the noun in behind the wood pile or was a hedgehog. An owl swooped on the rabbit from up in the beech tree in a louse behind and from a louse up. That is, the preposition controls wherever word or phrase follow it. Another aspect of this control can be seen from the fact that in standard English, prepositions can be followed by pronouns, but they exclude I, she, he, we, and they, and require me, him, her, us, and them. I bought a present for C. and I've bought a present for her. This is the example. I think that's all of me. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Sandi Muhammad Tarik. My registration number is A1M21901. I would like to explain to you about heads, modifiers, and meaning. The distinction between heads and modifiers has been put in terms of one word, the head that controls the other word in a phrase, the modifiers. If we think of language as a way of conveying information, which is what every speaker does with language some of the time, we can consider the head as conveying a central piece of information and the modifiers as conveying extra information. Thus, in the phrase expensive books, the head word books indicates the very large set of things that count as books, while expensive indicates that the speaker drawing attention not to the whole set but the subset of books that are expensive. In the longer phrase, the expensive books, the word the signal that the speaker is referring to a set of books which have already been mentioned or are otherwise obvious in a particular context. The same narrowing down of meaning applies to phrases containing verbs. Not first that different verbs have different powers of control. Some verbs, as in the first example, exclude a direct object. Other verbs require direct object, as in the second example. And a third set of verbs allows a direct object but does not require one, as in the third example. Here is the example. Consider the example drove and drove a Volvo. Drove indicates driving in general. Drove a Volvo narrows down the activity to driving a particular make of car. Consider further the phrase on the plate. The first word on signals a relationship between some entity, say a piece of toast or a knife. The surface of something. The plate tells us what that something is. That is, it narrows down the meaning being on to being on a particular plate. Finally, in this brief set of example, we return to the point made earlier in passing that heads may have several modifiers. This is most easily illustrated with the verbs. The phrase bought a present for Ginny in Jenner's last Tuesday contains four modifiers of bought: a present for Ginny in Jenner's and last Thursday. A present signal what was bought and narrows down the activity from just buying to buying a present as opposed, say, to buying the weekly groceries. For Jenny narrows the meaning down further, not just buy a present, but buy a present for Ginny, and similarly for the phrases in Jenner's last Thursday. I think that's all from me. Let's go to the next videos.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Jalal Afri Prayoga and my register number is A1M219091, and I will continue the presentation about complement and adjuncts. The last example about a present for Jenny in Jenner's last Thursday bring us to the second major distinction in this chapter. Modifiers fall into two classes: obligatory modifiers known as complements and optimal modifiers known as adjunct. The last distinction was first developed for the paras that modify verbs, and indeed applies most easily to modifier of verb. We will focus on verb, but the distinction is also applied to the modifiers of nouns. Before discuss about division of modifiers into complements and adjuncts, we must take the example at the beginning of this paragraph and convert it to a complete clause. Say my mother bought present for Jenny in Jenner's last Thursday. We saw from 6a to c that the verbs control whether a direct object is excluded, required, or merely allowed. From this from this example, we might conclude that the verb control only the paras that follow it, but the verb can be seen as controlling every other phrase in the clause. My mother, in the revised example about, is the subject of the verb. The subject of a clause plays an important role. A verb such as requires a subject noun denoting a liquid. If in given clauses it has subject noun denoting some other kind of entities, imposes an impression of the entities as a liquid. Of course, some entities can be either liquids or solids. Molten steel flows, solid steel does not. Thus, people talk of a crown flowing along a route, or traffic flowing smoothly, or of ideas flowing freely. Such talk over a view of the crowd moving along a road held in by buildings on either side and properly by a mysterious modified force. Just as a river moves along in mysterious fashion held in by its banks, what we considering is the distinction between literary language and figure or morphological language. The distinction will not be explored here, but it is important to be aware that many the constraints which linguists discuss about apply to literary language but dislodge in figurative language. Returning to the clause, my mother bought a present for Jenny in Jenner's last Thursday. We will say that the first block controls all the other paras in the clauses and is the whole of clauses. It requires a human noun to its left, her mother. It requires a noun to its right that denotes something concrete. Although we talk frequently of buying ideas in the sense of agrees with them, it's allowed but does not require. Time expressions such as the last Thursday and place expressions such as in genres. Such such expression convey information about the time when some event happened and about the place where it happened. With verbs, such time and place expression are always optimal and are held to be adjuncts. The major exception is B, which has its own cinematic pattern. Pairs that are obligatory are called complements. The term complement refers from Latin verb to fill on, filling it out or completing it with respect to syntax but also with respect to meaning. The terms adjuncts refers from the Latin verb join or add and simply means something adjoined, taking on and not part of the essential structure of clauses. All verb in English declaration declarative clauses require a noun to their left, even where the buyers are known. They must be mentioned by means of a noun. Verbs such as buy also require a noun to their right, with one the clause which the accord is incomplete and the message conferred by the clause incomplete for speakers of English. I think enough for me, and wabillahi taufiq walhidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.